the screen. It's just
Okay.
small though.
All right. Well, we'll see how we go. So welcome, Elaine. Looks like it's just the two of us tonight. So let's go into anything to check in on first. Any thoughts? Any questions? Anything like that?
Yeah, I sort of tapped into. I am still aware of this resistance that I have, basically to really achieving the things I would like to do, including this course. It's just like a resistance, which I spoke to you right about in the beginning with this course.
Yeah.
So I'm pleased we're doing the accountability thing. I actually do think I need it. I'm inclined to just go on a little drift sideways, what's comfortable, easy, like when it comes to really, okay, you're doing this course now, this is it's 2:30 every afternoon, 8:30 every evening. You get set your course material, you read it, you do it, everything. That's what you signed up for.
Yeah. Of course, you need to study. You need to put in some work. Otherwise, what's the point of doing a course? So that's all good.
So yeah, I am aware of that. And I went this morning, we were doing our feathers for our gateway ceremony, which is like sort of an initiation ceremony.
Yeah, you mentioned.
At the Shamanic Center. And I kind of felt like my heart wasn't completely in it. I thought maybe it was because of that conversation we had last night. He said, no, listen, I mean, we've got two counterparts, the one's dual and the other one's not. You can't be both.
Dual and non-dual, they contradict each other. How do you reconcile duality with non-duality? It's impossible task.
That I gave some thought to as well. But, I'm an adventurer and an explorer, and I like to learn about different things. And it's certainly very interesting.
Yeah, well, you do your, Ken Wapnick, who is a famous Course in Miracles teacher, said, by all means go down the spiritual path, the spiritual smorgasbord, he called it. You can shop around and you can check it out and you can dabble in this and try this and, various things. And then he said, but, eventually, if the course resonates with you and you want to do it, then he recommends you commit to it because it is a path. Oh, wow. Okay. Now we have lights again. Okay, then.
Cool.
Come back.
Yeah, is that on your side?
I hope it stays that way. I'm just going to probably switch because I'm on mobile signal now. So I might just drop out briefly and then I'll come back in. So let me just switch this. Hopefully I can. Am I actually? Okay. I wonder if I'm on. Looks like I am on a. And there's Iona. Okay, so that's good. Good timing.
I must tell her only that she does look 10 years younger.
Yeah.
She can't hear me.
No, give her a chance. Okay, that's good. So I'm back on my Wi-Fi.
She's good.
Hi, Iona.
Hi there. Hi, Jono.
How are you?
Hi,
Iona. Join us.
Hi.
You actually are looking 10 to 15 years younger. Serious. No, I'm serious. I said to John, choose God. I listened to that recording.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But you actually do. I swear to God, it's like you look 10 to 15 years younger.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. It's like all fresh-faced and
It's like,
yeah, amazing. It's amazing.
Well, that's the miracle mindedness, isn't it? Although, yeah, today has just been a little kind of whoa, ego bumps.
Yeah, it does come back, unfortunately. But
yes.
Wow. And then I listened to my astrology guy, Kai Pacha, with his weekly Pele report, just to remind us that it's a very powerful time still astrologically, planetarily, and such a big workout for the planet. And they're all human beings upon it. Yeah.
So how are you doing? Want to check in on anything? Anything happening? Anything arising?
I thought I immediately went into it there. Just, ego stuff arising this morning. But a lovely breath break in the morning, sitting out in the sun with a cup of tea, breathing. I think, just remember these 7 lessons.
The course lessons.
Yes, not upset for the reasons I think.
It's actually worth memorizing them. It really is, because I use it as like it's got the whole thought system. It's like a mini version of the entire workbook. It's got the whole thought system in there. If you remind yourself of the first 7 lessons.
Yeah.
And remind yourself that you know them sort of off pat quickly. Just to remind me.
Sure. Yeah. So nothing I see means anything.
Yeah.
I've given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. I do not understand anything I see. These thoughts do not mean anything. They're like the things I think I see here. I think I see. They're like the things I see. I'm never upset for the reason I think. I'm upset because I see what is not there.
Yeah.
I see only the past. So kind of in a sequence, that's quite a comprehensive mind-washing process if you go through the 7 lessons. And really, I spend a bit of time, like every morning, just on each one, just like 30 seconds on each one. Okay, nothing I see means anything. Okay, just remember, that's first principles. And then I've given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. Okay, I'm creating the meaning here. And we're doing that all the time. Our minds are meaning-making machines all the time. But it's to be conscious of that, to say, like, I'm giving this the meaning. It has no absolute meaning. I'm creating the meaning.
That's right.
All the time, whatever the situation is. Like, it's all made up in my mind, my interpretation, my perception. And even as you go through life, it's, and yes, you're dealing in a construct where you have to, you've got things to do, you've got businesses, I've got other businesses that are not like in this domain, and you have to do stuff, and that's okay. But just remember that I'm giving it all the meaning it has for me, all the time, everything. That's very helpful, just to have that in the background of your awareness all the time. Going, okay, I'm just creating the meaning. So I don't get that attached to things because I know I'm making up the meaning all the time. The meaning is not an absolute meaning. It's my own meaning that I've put onto that situation.
Which I can change as well.
Yeah, because I can change my perception of it. I don't have to give it that meaning anymore. I can give it another meaning that's maybe more helpful.
Meaning and have a different reality as a result.
Yeah. And simply say, well, ultimately, what Jesus is saying is nothing I see here really means anything. Right? That's the true meaning. Nothing in an illusion means anything. So why am I getting at all bothered or upset about what really doesn't mean anything and what is illusory? And these principles just help us, to remind us of that I'm just creating the meaning all the time. And my thoughts, today's lesson is quite good. So maybe we should dive into the lesson actually, because it's quite short. And neither of you made the afternoon session. So does that sound like a good idea?
Yes, please. I'm just going to get my glasses. It's
No
better.
problem.
Yep.
So we'll look at the lesson. So let me know if you can see the screen.
Yeah, it's very small. I also need glasses, which I don't have.
Well, what I will do is I will expand it for you.
Yeah,
There we go.
okay. Okay, yeah, that's better.
Yeah. So
Just got to sort of scroll over as I read, which is fine. Yeah, okay. My
so
mind
this
is
one is my mind is preoccupied with
this is
with
what
past
I've done.
thoughts, which is a follow-on from yesterday's lesson. I see only the past.
Yeah.
And this is actually a pretty, I mean, all of these lessons are quite mind-blowing, but this one, just watch what he says. Have you read it? I mean, it's pretty,
Yeah, I did.
pretty radical stuff.
I did read all of that, yeah.
Yeah, you're not really thinking about anything. Your mind is actually blank when you're thinking about the past. Okay, so my mind's been blank for most of my life now because I've been thinking about the past all the time. Because it's not really thinking about anything.
Yeah, which is like, gosh, what a waste, honestly. I mean, like, just it's got nothing to do with what's going on now. Nothing.
So it's quite a radical lesson. But it's this is what we need. We need radical. Like what I like about the course is it is radical and it goes to the heart of the matter. He's not pussyfooting around and saying, you know, oh, we'll kind of make it easier for you and we'll kind of like warm you up for a month or two and then maybe we'll drop in a few metaphysical clues. But because he's not, you see, he doesn't have an agenda. What I like about it, I mean, I watched that movie that John, I don't know if you saw it, John posted on the group on Saturday. He posted a link to, it was called Unsinkable. So I'm like, okay, well, let's go check it out. It's like one of these movies where they interview people like Joe Dispenza, you know, like The Secret and What Do We Know, you know, that kind of. So this lady's gone around and she's done it. She's put together the movie. She's got these various talking heads, as they call it, like speaking about this stuff. I mean, there's some good stuff in there. It's talked about forgiveness, talked about letting go. But the problem is there's a huge agenda because she wants you to sign up to a course. So then it's like this you know, vested interest at the end of it. So now you hear her and she's in a pitch and she's like, just hit that button, just smash that button, just hit the button, like 10 times, hit the button, and it just tunes you out. You're like, sorry, you know, is this teaching or selling? You know, it should really be be about you know, and it's a difficult one. I mean, I do the masterclass and there's a sale there because I have to convince people to do it. But I guess it's to what level you're going to do it. You know, are you going to go totally into?
If you're interested,
like smash the button. Just click that button like 10 times. Just click that button.
Just click that button like right now.
Yeah, just click that button right now because this is a one-time offer. And then and it's just you tune out, don't you? It's just like, oh, okay, whatever. I mean, I wouldn't have signed up anyway because I'm like, I just checking out what she's offering. So she's doing a bit of meditation, guided activations, she calls them, 12-minute meditations.
Very told. You know, there's an art to setting, and it's especially not in today's age. It's not forceful. Really, it's a soft sell. Everything's a soft sell.
Well, this was definitely not soft sell at all.
Yeah, no, but the soft sell is what's going to sell. If you want to sell something like this, you need the soft sell. Because the hard sells, you like the people that pay and then they don't rock to the course.
Yeah, I know. There's been a couple of those.
But that wasn't because it was a hard sell. But you can expect that sort of thing.
Interestingly, Iona, Lucy has decided to jump in, which is nice.
That's great.
I just said, well, you know, we're 2 weeks into it, but just join and do a 3-week free trial, and you know, then see how we go after 3 weeks. We'll take it to almost the end of the course, and that was a good example of it, because yesterday it was just a session. She dived into a session, and you know, it was just an experience. I really enjoyed that session. Actually, it was a bit like a workshop. It was nice.
It was amazing. I felt it was like a workshop.
Mm.
Yeah. As I was watching the weather come and go, and it get darker and darker, and I thought, well, yeah, this is what I'm meant to be doing today.
Yeah, and because we spent the time, we managed to really do some deep work. We got through those exercises, and and that's what's interesting. It's interactive. When you do that, it's so then the thing comes alive, and it's like, okay, there's interaction here, and there's teaching and learning, and that's like, that's what workshops are about. You go there and you work at it. So for her, I guess that was a nice lead-in, and now she's decided, yes, okay, I'll jump in and just join, and let's see where it goes. So that is like on an ongoing basis. If you have anyone, like, yes, they can join the masterclass first up, but you can invite them to a session, invite them to any of these sessions.
Okay.
Sunday sessions are good, but any of these sessions, and they can just kind of feel their way in and go, okay, well, I've got an experiential taste of it, and this is what they're doing every day. So do I like it or not? Is this something I'd like to be part of? And then then they can join the masterclass. But again, it's pretty like, join on a free trial. I'm not asking you for money. Just drop in and see. Join, I'll add you to the list and see how it goes for 3 weeks, and then you'll know, is this for me or not? Because you'll have had the exposure to the program. So yeah, that's, you absolutely can do that. You're free to invite anyone to any of the sessions. The naming, just to qualify that, the naming your game stuff, and then the follow-ons. If people are like newbies, I wouldn't invite them to the naming your game session. They could join the first part of it, and because we're going to do some meditation and so on. But then, we're going into the practice. It's like, okay, right. So now everyone's going to be giving everyone feedback. And this is like diving in at the deep end.
Well, I honestly don't know how I'm going to do it. I mean, what am I going to say about Iona? What am I going to say?
You'll find what you got to do is you got to dig deep, and you got to ask, what is truly helpful to say to this person that's going to help them to identify the core program, their core, what I call your FLOP, your fundamental life operating program. Because we all have one, right? This is the default program that has run your mind and your life for so many years. And it's there. Everyone has it. Everyone has it.
Yeah. So
unless you're perfectly enlightened, and there's very few of those. Perfectly enlightened beings don't do courses like this. So that's everyone has it. So it's like, can you really identify it from this exercise and actually get a handle on this? Okay, so this is the program that's been running my mind and my life, and it's a single belief system, which then has all kinds of extensions, and it plays out in all areas of your life. But it's actually one idea about yourself. It's a self-concept. If you can identify that in a single exercise, that is so helpful. Because then you've got a handle on it. You're like, finally, I can actually say, this is the thing. And if I can undo this program, then I'm free. I don't have to play this out, this really dysfunctional pattern anymore. And you start seeing that all of your dysfunctions in your life have come from that single idea, that single program played out in different ways. And it's to get to the core of that. And it's hard to do it on your own. How do you do that on your own? Because the ego doesn't want to show you that. And you're like, okay, well, I want to do like serious examination now. What is my game? And then it's like, I don't know. And the ego is not going to reveal that information easily. I can promise you. I've seen people go, okay, no, my game is fear. No, that's not your game. That's a symptom. The game is you have a belief system that induces the fear, and it induces the guilt, and it induces all these emotions. So what is the belief about yourself? That's where you need to go to. Speaking of Lucy, there she is. And so it's very deep, profound work to do this. And you actually need a facilitator, and you need to do it in a group, because they will give you the feedback to help you. Otherwise, how do you do this on your own? It's very difficult to do it on your own. You could journal it, you could write it, but are you going to be accurate in your perceptions? Because we don't want to see. We hide, don't we? We duck and we dive and we hide, and we don't really want to see the truth. So this is an exercise where you just like, okay, there you go. It's right in your face. and then you get this really good feedback that you can use to do the exercise that can get you to the absolute core of your ego in the group session, and then the follow-up work you do on your own. And Elaine, in your case, we're doing some coaching, so we can do some coaching and work, and then it's like, okay, that's the program. If I get that, that's so helpful. And then the following exercises are follow-ups to that. So then we work through it and turn it around. We're flipping your flop, and then finding your higher purpose, and it all comes from that first name your game exercise.
Yeah,
So it's a good one, but it's intense. I mean, it's not for the faint-hearted. And that session I was mentioning to you, Elaine, earlier about that guy, I mean, there was 7 hours of this, and it was just like painful, man. It was just so, I was like, oh, that was the hardest session I've ever done. Because it was like such a dense energy, such a heavy energy of like almost condemnation. And that's not, I don't do it like that. It's quite lighthearted. We have a bit of a laugh. Because it's like, in the end, it's not that serious. Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Jono.
How are you? Welcome.
I'm good. I was a bit busy this evening, but I've had a good day after the lessons yesterday, actually. And I listened to quite a bit of what you sent me today. There's quite a lot to get through, but it's good because I can see that it's.
Sorry for the information dump, but that was the start of the course a few weeks ago. So
got it. No, that's fine.
I've just given you all the stuff, and then every day you're going to get more stuff on email. And did you get my email this morning?
I did. Yeah, I just sent you a reply actually.
Okay, good.
To let you know I got it.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, no, I managed today. It was really a good day. It was a good day because I remembered to I remembered that if I base anything on the past, I'm placing myself in time, in the past, in the future, and I was just able to stay present and joyful. Like, oh God, that really works. And then the response was really favorable, no judgments. Yeah, it was good. I watched them come, and then I was like, no, not going there.
Not going there. Great. So a good first day. Just keep on and see if you can, join us as often as possible in these sessions. Because it keeps. There's something about live sessions that really does have a bit of magic to it. Or maybe I should say, not magic, because we're talking about A Course in Miracles. Miracle. It has a miraculous effect. Connecting with people live and interacting, and it brings the course alive. I once tried to run this without doing one live session a week, and it just didn't have the same vibe. Just didn't. It was like just recordings doesn't. So I was like, no, it actually needs to really make an impact. Which is the idea, to design a course that really does change your life in 6 weeks. So it's not just this is another life changing. It really does. There's a profound fundamental shift in your thoughts about yourself, your self-concept, and your perceptions of everything. And if you can do that in 6 weeks, that is life changing. So that's the idea. Now, obviously, it requires your cooperation. I can't just do it to you. But if you're willing, someone's willing and they just go with the process, then the process should deliver that. So excellent. All right, shall we? We're going to go into the lesson today. So let's have a little read of that, and then we'll do a meditation based on it. And I want to do some advanced letting go processes as well. So let's start off with a lesson. So my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. It's this one. So who would like to read the first paragraph? You want to kick it off, Fiona?
This idea is, of course, the reason why you see only the past no one really sees anything. He sees only his thoughts projected outward. The mind's preoccupation with the past is the cause of the misconception about time from which your seeing suffers. Your mind cannot grasp the present, which is the only time there is. It therefore cannot understand time and cannot, in fact, understand anything. Oh, man.
Gotta laugh. Basically, Jesus is saying you don't understand anything. You're completely clueless.
Haven't got a clue.
Got a clue. You
You
are?
gotta laugh. It's quite funny, actually.
Yeah.
It's a relief.
It's a relief. Yeah, you cannot, in fact, understand anything. Okay, all right, then. You
Wow.
tell me, Jesus. You can see why someone with investment in their own opinions and beliefs is going to have a trouble with this course. You don't really understand anything. He who humbles himself will be made great. That's really what it's about. Willing to look at everything you think you know and say, okay, well, maybe I don't understand anything.
Yeah.
I'm just totally confused.
It was interesting because I did have opportunities today to hear myself projecting. And it kind of fizzled out because I kind of flared and then thought, pathetic, your heart's not in this projection on the other. So it kind of was a bit of a damp squib. So I could see that as really good progress. I thought, I don't want to feel like this. Just let it go. But the ego really tried, but it kind of was like a lame duck. It kind of fluttered to the ground.
Yeah, well, that's a very good sign, as you say. It's spiritual progress. I'd say the primary barometer of your spiritual progress is how quickly can you let go of egoic thoughts and emotions. That's it.
Yeah.
Is it going to take you hours or is it going to take you minutes? And if you can get to the point where it's just like, the energy's been sucked out of it. That's what you're doing. You're sucking the energy out of this thing called the ego, which wants to rage and storm, and it's just like, just suck the energy out, and it just ceases to have that same power that it used to.
Yeah. Oh,
because you've obviously done something. The spiritual work just does that. It just like deactivates it.
Yeah.
So you don't get as attached to it and as in it anymore.
Yeah.
And you can just kind of observe and go, this is just pathetic. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, what are you trying to do?
It was definitely like, when you have a firework and it's really feeble and it's so feeble, you kind of laugh.
Yeah, there's no like bang. It's like,
no. And it was just like fizzing away on the ground. You just want to go and stand on it.
Yeah. Well, that's really good progress. I mean, in two weeks, because we've only been doing this two weeks in the day. That's really good.
Thank you.
And we're still not into the real core of the course. The heart of it is coming starting Sunday. So
right.
It's just the warm up.
This is just the warm up. Very good. Okay.
Yeah, there's more. There's more to come. It's about going, very, very deep into that egoic program and just getting to the heart of it and seeing it and going, okay, I'm done with this. I'm actually done with this. I don't want to play that game anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very
I think
it's going to be very interesting for us to discover our games.
Well, you probably have an inkling already, but it's to make it really, really, really visceral to you, that you really get this. Because we can all say, okay, well, we have an unworthiness program. I mean, kind of that's an idea that's not exactly new, is it?
Yeah.
It's like kind of the core of a lot of teachings and so on. So okay, so we have an unworthiness program. But that doesn't mean that much unless you really connect to it viscerally. Okay, so what is my program? So it becomes very personal. Like, what is my program? And I'm really seeing that, and I'm really feeling it. I'm experiencing that arising, and I'm able to really see it. Then it starts to have meaning and impact personally. So it's not just a theoretical idea. Oh, well, yes, we all have an unworthiness concept. It's not actually, this is my unworthiness concept. This is what I've done. And I still have the pattern, but now I'm starting to become aware of it, I'm starting to undo it. So that's where we're going with it. So it becomes very personal. And I think one of the dangers of the course is it can all be done at a very theoretical, intellectual level.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
David Hoffmeister, he actually has a term for it. He calls it metaphysical ghosting. I don't know if you've heard that term. And I didn't really understand it to start with, but then they explained it. It means that you kind of metaphysically ghost over the top of difficult emotions. So you go, oh, well, it's all illusion anyway, so I'm not even going to go there. It's all illusion, it's all illusion.
Yeah.
And not really saying, okay, I actually need to experience these emotions in order to undo them. The only way out is through. I've got to actually go into these and experience them. And just saying it's an illusion without really wanting to dig in there and actually experience whatever my version of the illusion is metaphysical ghosting, because you're actually using it as an excuse not to do the work. Oh, it's all illusion anyway, so none of it really is real, and I'll just ghost over the top of it. But actually, I'm scared of going in there and really experiencing those deep, dark emotions, because ego's going, no, don't go there. There be dragons, so avoid that. And then you use your spiritual, spiritual knowledge. Oh, well, it's all illusion, as a defense mechanism. Which is classic ego, using the truth to defend its illusions. I mean, I know it's twisted and warped, but then, that is what the ego is. It's going to try and use anything to stop you from really getting into it and seeing it. And, that's what this process is going to do. Help you to really get into it and see it. And it's hard to do it on your own, honestly. That work is hard to do on your own.
Yeah.
It's possible, but it's like to do this kind of depth of inquiry on your own. Most people, it's beyond them. They're not going to get there because there's too many defenses and they won't see it. And so it needs a facilitator in the group just to help that to come into consciousness and say, okay, yes, all right, I accept that. Because once you've accepted it, then you can work with it and release it. Okay, so a bit of a digression there, but let's go on to number 2, shall we? Lucy, do you want to read that?
I'm not sure how to. How do I do it? Because is it in the chat? Oh, I don't know if I can.
Can you not see my screen? I'm sharing my screen.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I've got it. So I'm reading number 2.
2, yeah.
The one wholly true thought one can hold about the past is that it is not here. To think about it all is therefore to think about illusions. Very few have realized what is actually entailed in picturing the past or in anticipating the future. Mind is actually blank when it does this, because it is not really thinking about anything.
Any thoughts on that?
Well, it seems that even just the process of thinking and identifying with thinking is, unless something kind of just comes up and is responded to, my sense is here, like listening, reading that, is that any kind of attachment to the thought is a past or present kind of scenario. But that last bit I'm not sure about, because I did read that today and I was thinking, what does that actually mean? The mind is actually blank when it does this. I'm not sure I understand that.
Because not really thinking about anything. Well,
because the mind isn't.
Well, it seems to be, you see, so this is like he's trying to switch your reality and turn it around.
Ah,
So
I get it.
if my mind is busy and thinking about the past and the future, it's actually a blank, because these things are nothing. These thoughts are nothing. And if you're thinking about nothing, then your mind is actually really blank. There's nothing really going on there of any substance. It has no reality. And so he's trying to get us to see that.
Is concerned. It doesn't have reality as far as the present is concerned.
And the present is
It's
the only time
really
there is.
thinking. It's so busy thinking about attaching something to the thinking which is related to the past, which is where this thinking is coming from. There's no attention at all given to the moment. Therefore, it's blank on the subject of the moment. Is that what it's saying?
Well, what he's saying is true reality. What's true is your pure formless awareness. Okay? This awareness that is not. It doesn't have subject-object duality thoughts going on in pure formless awareness. He's trying to get us to see that like our entire construct of thought, what we think of as thought and real thought, and these thoughts are important and valuable and meaningful, is simply a blank, because we're thinking about nothing.
Yeah.
Like once we go into illusion, like once we've gone into this this thought of let me just pull up today's course. So scan and download. Okay, so there we go, and I'm going to pull this up and just reference to this particular descent into hell diagram. So this is the metaphysics on a high level of the course, and I actually sent out this morning I sent out a link to a video where you can watch, like we go into this in detail. But essentially what this is saying is once you go into illusion, you have this tiny mad idea of separation, as Jesus calls it. Once you do that, you go into an unreal domain. That tiny mad idea then kicks off a process of thought and experience that is now total illusion. It has no meaning or substance at all. In truth, it has no reality. So if you're thinking all these kinds of thoughts, you've got fear and guilt and sin and etc. It's a whole, pretty complex thought system, as we can see. All of this going on. What he's trying to get us to see is that this is just a blank. Actually, the moment you go into an illusory thought, it is not true. The thought of separation is not true. Everything that then proceeds from that thought is false. Therefore, it's a blank. Your mind is not really thinking about anything, because this is really nothing. This entire domain of red arrows and all the complexity that egos invented is really nothing. So if you're thinking about nothing, your mind must be a blank. This is what he's trying to say to us. And the past makes all of this real, you see. So if the past is real, then this has really happened. The separation has really happened. I really have separated from God. I really have done this terrible thing, and I've destroyed God or love or oneness. So now I have guilt, because guilt and the past go hand in hand. And now I have fear of the future, false expectation of punishment appearing real because of my imagined guilt. That creates future. Concept of a fearful, wrathful God who's going to punish me sometime in the future. And I now project all of that out, and I create a projection of all of this. Projected thought is the physical universe. And now my thought and what my projection seem to interact all the time. I've got caught up in a domain of projection and perception, where projection feeds perception, perception in turn reinforces projection. And I just keep doing that. And we've been doing this for a very long time. And Jesus is saying, look, the only way out is you've got to recognize that all of this is really nothing. Because if you try to make sense of this within this domain, you're never going to make sense of it, and you're never going to get out. You have to start seeing that all of these thoughts are simply not true. and not real. And that's exactly what he's doing here. Now, I'm going to get into Barclays. And then you say that, step one. Oh, that's classic. Check this out. Step one, who are you? It asked, who are you? It took me to step two there. Who are you? Exactly. Who are you, really? You know, we have a name identity, but is that really who we are? Can't be. If this is true, if only love and oneness is true, then we cannot be a separate identity. So that's worth diving into and having a look at past sessions on it, Lucy. Iona, I think you've done. Did we do this session? I think you did. We did it in a live session with you in the first week. Just going into this teaching, and this just explains exactly what the ego thinks and how it works and the mechanism of it. And you know, the answer is very simple. The answer is none of it's true. That's the Holy Spirit's reinterpretation of it, which he's telling us all the time. The one holy true thought you can hold about the past is it is not here. Because if there's only eternity, if there's only this pure formless awareness that's eternal, then the past cannot have any reality. So this is where he's pointing us with these exercises. Does that make a bit more sense now, Lucy? What he's doing here? Pretty profound, it's pretty radical. Like you said to most people, your mind's actually blank. You haven't actually been thinking about anything your entire life. Like, what? I can't accept that. That's too much. Because it's the ego will find this personally insulting. It's going to take umbrage at this. So how can you say I've been thinking nothing? My thoughts are meaningful, important. And he's trying to train us to recognize that they're not at all. Okay, so number 3, Elaine, you want to read number 3?
The purpose of the exercises for today is to begin to train your mind to recognize when it is not really thinking at all. While thoughtless ideas preoccupy your mind, the truth is blocked. Recognizing that your mind has been merely blank, rather than believing that it is filled with real ideas, is the first step to opening the way to vision.
Okay. This makes sense.
Just reading it again. Yeah, I am battling with this idea that you're not thinking at all. I thoughtless ideas. I mean, I understand that they're thoughtless ideas in your mind. That I get. Meaningless or historical or looking into the future, whatever, which is meaningless. But that doesn't mean that there's nothing at all. It's not blank. I'm getting
what he's saying is that everything here in this domain is a blank because it's not true. Right? So you have one tiny mad idea that's not true. That I can actually be separate from God or love or oneness. That's the tiny mad idea. Now everything that comes from that idea, the entire thought system, because that's what it is, of the ego, the sense of a separate self, must be false. You see that? Because the tiny mad idea that gave birth to all of this is false. So therefore, are you really thinking if you're thinking about ideas that are false? This is what he's trying to say to us. Is that really thought? We think it's thought. We value that kind of thought. But he's saying is that this is actually nothing. Because you're thinking about what's not true, what has no reality, what doesn't even exist. So how can you say that these thoughts are real when they're false. You see, they have no reality or no existence in truth. So your mind is merely a blank if you're thinking about this. So you're thinking about nothing. You're dreaming all of these thoughts, and it seems to be very real to you while you're thinking the thoughts, and you're having the experiences, this whole time-space experience, the human experience. But actually, it's just a blank, because the dream is nothing, and the dream can be completely undone. So whatever you dreamed, I mean, we've all dreamed at night. You've had a dream and it seemed to be quite real or scary, and then you wake up and you go, oh, okay, I can barely remember it. It's just disappeared. I can't remember the dream anymore. Or thank goodness it was only a dream, because it wasn't really pleasant. But it was just thoughts and emotions, a construct of my mind, and it's gone now. And so this is what he's trying to say to us. Like, whatever you're thinking in this domain is nothing. And as he says, accepting this idea is the key to vision. You need to really open your mind to the idea of pure formless awareness, of a presence that doesn't know about any of this. God has no knowledge of any of this. None of this exists in God or love or oneness. So if you want to reunify your mind with that and be only that, then you must deny all of this. You must dismiss it all as simply false. And as if thoughts arise in your mind, you simply see them as what they are. You know, these are not true and not real. And I'm not really thinking about anything now. And that's quite an interesting thought to use. Okay, so you've got an ego thing going on, stuff's arising, and then you go, I'm not really thinking about anything now. I mean, it's kind of a showstopper, isn't it? If you have that awareness, it just stops the ego show. Well, I'm not really even thinking here. And then it just stops that whole movement of the mind, stops you from going down the track further on that along that line of thinking. Because you just realize I'm not even thinking here. And then you can laugh. You can laugh at it. It's like, I'm not even thinking about anything. And I've done this a lot. I've been thinking about nothing for my entire life. And keeping myself away from this vital love or oneness. Because all of this is just designed to keep you away from it. So that you're not aware of it, and you continue in the ego's domain. And it's now in charge. This tiny mad idea of separation is in charge of your mind. Because you gave it that power. Does that help, Elaine?
Yeah. Yeah.
So as he says in the beginning of the workbook, he says, you know, some of these ideas you will not believe. Some you will actively resist. But none of this matters as long as you just do the exercise. Just do the exercise and practice. And as you practice, you start to learn more and more. More and more understanding comes in of what he's actually saying. And you know, this will probably, you do it next year, do it again, it'll have more meaning for you then. So the first pass, I mean, no one really understands the course on the first pass. They just don't. You know, me included. Like, first time I read it, it's like, you're pretty clueless. You don't know what you're reading, and it's like, it's interesting, and it's like, oh wow, but it goes, a lot of it goes over your head, because you're still too much in the ego to really accept what he's saying. The ego is going to resist this, because it's like, okay, this is the beginning of the end for me. If I actually learn this course, this is the thin edge of the wedge. So it has great resistance. And it's not because you're stupid. It just means there's a thick wall of ego resistance. Your identity is defending itself, because it knows that this is the end, right? A Course in Miracles, or any pure non-dual teaching, is the end of the ego. It cannot sustain with this kind of pure truth being thrown in it all the time. And these exercises in actually practically undoing it. So if you find ego resistance coming up, it's normal. Just understand it's fighting for its life. It's going to do that. So that's good. You got to go, okay, I've got it on the run now. It's great. And it's losing its oomph, as you saw today. It's like, okay, it's a bit pathetic, really. There's no real power. Okay, and then the rest of it's practice. So I can guide you through it in a meditation if you like. Let's do that.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll just mute you all. Just making yourselves comfortable. Sitting with your feet shoulder width apart. Back straight, cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And just start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clenching the sphincter muscle, raising the energy up into your heart center. You can put one hand on your heart. Breathe into your heart center. Just feel that presence, that warm, comforting presence in your heart. Draw it up. The spine into the crown of your head. So you're connecting the heart with the head. It's the longest journey of your life. It's only 30 centimeters. But it's a long journey to really integrate these two parts of your being. So your thought and your feeling, your emotion are the same. They're integrated. So breathe in again. Now just scan your mind. So notice any thoughts going on in your mind. Search your mind for any thoughts that you find there. And as you notice them, just say to yourself, I seem to be thinking about whatever it is or whoever it is. You could name a person or people, you could name an object, you could name an emotion, and so on. Just let the thoughts come, name them quite casually. And I'll say to yourself, but in truth, my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. And use that to help you let this go. So as you exhale out through the mouth, finding some peace and some stillness at the bottom of the exhale. Just sinking in. Finding serene, sublime peace in the gap between breaths. It takes you into an eternal state of mind, beyond time and space and all the constructs of the world. And then breathe in again. Nice deep inhale in through the nose. Notice how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Again, scan your mind. Notice as you breathe in fully. Maximal inhale breath. Again, notice whatever your mind's thinking about. And just name the thoughts. Seem to be thinking about a person. Seem to be thinking about an object. Seem to be thinking about a place. Seem to be thinking about an emotion. Whatever it is, you observe and you're just willing to release it and let it go. And so as you exhale, blowing it all away with the breeze of your breath, letting go of any attachment. Pull the lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. Notice the peace, stillness that arises in the gap between breaths, gap between my words. And let that open and take you in. So breathing in again. Notice how the stomach rises and the chest rises. It's a little flow of air into the nostrils. And just a touch of the breath on your nose, bottom of your nose, area just below your nose, between your nose and your upper lip. Just observe all these subtle sensations to bring your mind into the present moment, beyond all past thoughts. Scan your mind again. Just notice any thoughts arising. Just watch your thoughts. And sink inward, let the thoughts carry you inward, deeper and deeper, in the stillness and silence. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. Just breathe, relax, and be still. Surrender completely to the stillness. And if you notice any thoughts arising, as they tend to do, just observe them casually. They're like clouds, just drifting by in your awareness. They have no power to obscure the eternal light. Just observe them casually. Remind yourself of the lesson I seem to be thinking about, and then name it. Seem to be thinking about the name of a person, name of an object, or name of an emotion. Just name it and then recognize that my mind is really blank. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts that are not true, so just let them go by saying I seem to be thinking about whatever it is, whoever it is, but actually my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. And exhale, just release all of those thoughts. Your mind is really blank when you're thinking thoughts about the past and the future. They serve no purpose. So just sink in for a few minutes of deep silence into this deep place of peace. And so gently coming back to an awareness of the body. And the breath and senses and the world, and on the count of 3, and gently open your eyes. 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises, subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. 2, noticing what you touching and feeling, tasting and smelling. The weight of your body pressing down into the chair. And just notice all these subtle sensations. The body from this very present state. There's no past. Mind is not preoccupied with past thoughts, just purely present. You notice the breath, you notice the sensations, touch, taste, smell, feel. And yet you don't interpret them and label them and judge them. Just let them go. They're like cloud patterns. Your sense perceptions are like clouds blowing through the mind. In and out, they shift and they change all the time. So you don't have to attach to any of them. If you notice any thoughts still there, say to yourself, I seem to be thinking about whoever or whatever it is. And then name each of your thoughts. Just name them. I seem to be thinking about the name of a person or the name of an object or the name of an emotion and so on. And yet my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. And you don't have to attach to them, you don't have to give them a meaning. Simply release them. Say, I don't believe that thought. I seem to be thinking it, but if I don't think it anymore, then what reality does this have? So you start to fundamentally change your thought system. Thinking different thoughts, seeing and experiencing different things. So now on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. Just take a minute to look around and observe the room around you, various objects in the room, very casually, detached way. Any thoughts arise in connection with anything you see, just say, I seem to be thinking about whatever it is, the object, and that might lead to further thoughts. I seem to be thinking about a person, an emotion. And you just got to remind yourself that whatever the subject matter is, truth is that my mind is preoccupied. Past thoughts. Those thoughts have no meaning at all except the meaning I give them. So there's no eternal meaning, there's no essence of substance there. It's purely perceptual, created by my own mind, and that meaning will die, will disappear when I come into my enlightenment. Okay, so we're all back. Let's get everyone to unmute. A little meditation. So we have a little dive into the text. What are we looking at? 7 paragraphs. Okay, so it's not too bad. Everyone up for reading the text?
Okay.
So this one is called Cause and Effect, which is in the Eastern teachings. This is karma. Karma is the word that's used to describe cause and effect. So there's a lesson in karma. Let's see what Jesus has to teach us.
Say karma. Yeah. Good.
Karma in the East means cause and effect.
Yeah, we're talking about it today, so that's perfect.
Yeah. So there we go. How it works. So you want to kick it off with paragraph 1.
Yeah. You may still complain about fear, but you never persist in making yourself fearful. I have already indicated not asking.
Just going to meet Lucy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know it does. I'll read that again. I have already indicated that you cannot ask me to release you from fear. You cannot. I know it does not exist, but you do not. If I intervene between your thoughts and their results, I would be tampering with the basic law of cause and effect, the most fundamental law there is. I would hardly help you if I depreciated the power of your own thinking. This would be in direct opposition to the purpose of this course. It's much more helpful to remind you that you do not guard your thoughts carefully enough. You may feel that at this point it would take a miracle to enable you to do this, which is perfectly true. You are not used to miracle-minded thinking, but you can be trained to think that way. All miracle workers need that kind of training. So
Yeah.
He's saying, I can't parent you through this. I can't, it's not my job to prevent you from going straight through the middle of this. You have to experience it for yourself. If I intervene between your thoughts and their results, yeah.
We must experience that because it shows us the power of our thinking.
Yeah. It's
And
like
that's part of our learning.
Like what you were saying, the ghosting, the metaphysical ghosting. Well, it's all an illusion anyway, so it's such a cop-out. But you actually do need to go diving down into the sort of sewage that's at the bottom of the mind and the thought beliefs, the systems that drive us.
Because if it was just purely an idea, you say, okay, it was just an idea of separation. I mean, that's where it started. And okay, well, simple. There's no separation. I'm not really human, and I've got no emotion. See, if you didn't have emotional attachment to your ego, it would be very easy. But it's the emotion that gets us.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it difficult because we're invested in it. It's thought and emotion form this construct, this prison really for us. And it's to get through those emotions. And emotions are sticky and persistent and difficult to deal with because it's not rational. It's just like these feelings, and we go, oh, it just really feels so dark, so depressing, so whatever the emotion is. It's like, how do you get out of that? And you have to go through it. You have to face it and feel the emotion, and then undo it at the level at which it was made. So you made it up in your mind. You've now got emotions going. You have to address it at that level. Trying to heal the mind just purely from the level of, well, there's only perfect oneness and pure formless awareness, and not really becoming aware of what's going on within this ego domain is not going to work because it's all too theoretical and abstract.
Yeah.
Oh, well, none of this is true. Yes, that is the ultimate truth. But while you believe in these things and you experience it, guilt and sin and fear, accusation, blame and attack, and these dark emotions that are consuming your mind, you have to deal with them. You have to look at them, bring them to the light, experience them. It's like an experiencing and then okay, but that emotion isn't true. I experience it, it might be very intense, might be very painful, but this isn't true. And he has to show us, he has to let us see that our minds have power, as he's saying here, because otherwise he'd be tampering with this basic law of the mind.
Yeah.
And he can't. It's God-given. Our minds have power because of the nature of their source. So our thoughts will have, even our illusory thoughts will have some power because we give them that. The mind's a powerful instrument.
Is this the muddle between, in my thinking anyway, about free will? Because a few lessons back, he's saying I give you free will, but that's pure formless awareness, free will. And here he's saying, if I'm not going to intervene between your thoughts and their results. It's the most fundamental law, this basic law of cause and effect. Your free will, my so-called free will.
Well, you couldn't have. Here's the thing: you'll never get to true free will, to the knowledge that you are truly one. If you don't understand this, you have to learn that your mind has power. That your ego mind, these difficult thoughts and emotions, have a seeming power. So you have to go through that to understand that your mind has power to create your experience, to create your reality.
Indeed.
And then you can go, okay, but why am I choosing then such a painful reality? Why don't I choose differently? Why don't I choose love and peace and joy? Yeah. And if he tampered with you at this level and said, well, I'll just try and fix it with you, you will never get to the true free will he talked about, of consciously merging your mind with God's and saying, okay, I surrender, I let go, I'm willing to just be pure formless awareness, because it's your decision. No one can impose that on you. Right, there's God, I'll give you God. No, it's an internal experience. You have to have accepted it for yourself. So he has to let us experience the consequences of our thoughts in order to learn that we really do have free will, and that we choose only love, we choose only pure formless awareness consciously, and then we can have that experience fully. And imagine if he said, okay, well, I'll do this for you, sign up and I'll correct your thoughts for you and I'll do it for you. You'd probably have a lot of followers. I mean, in a sense, that's why formal traditional Christianity has a lot of followers, because it's kind of saying, well, Jesus will do it for you.
Yeah.
You're saved because he died for your sins on the cross. You don't have to do anything else. And that's just not true at all. He's actually saying you have to follow my way. You have to train your mind. And it's difficult, and this isn't an easy process. So it's not just, sign up here and then get out of jail free card, you're in heaven because Jesus has died for your sins. I mean, that's a ridiculous idea, really, that could possibly work.
It's infinite.
So we have to experience the power of our minds to create our seeming reality, and then redirect it to claim our true free will back.
Yeah.
Consciously, to have chosen that and said, no, I choose that and only that. And therefore I relinquish, I let go of all these other thoughts.
Yeah.
And that has to be our own choice. Otherwise, our will would not be free, would it? We're like, oh, well, actually, we're under the control of Jesus, and Jesus is doing it for us. But then there's no free will.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be our own choice. And so we also free to choose otherwise. Temporarily, we can choose to deny this atonement. We can choose separation. So that seems then to give us the ability to choose truth or illusion. But in truth, eventually, as he says, you will choose the truth, because the other way is going to be too painful. And in order to learn that, you need to experience the effects of your own thoughts. This cause-effect relationship. Oh, I think certain ways, and then I act in certain ways, and then I get certain results. And that's not pleasant. It's not nice. But maybe I'm doing it to myself.
Yeah.
Because I thought the thoughts, and I said those things, and I did those things. And now I don't like the results. I can't really blame anyone else. And I'm being truthful. I must see that I did it. And therefore I can undo it. I don't have to believe these things anymore. Does that kind of clarify it?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
It's a paradox. I mean, we're dealing in paradox, free will. The paradox is that there seems to be a separation in the mind.
Yeah.
There seems to be another will, and that's the paradox. And then all paradoxes stem from that one paradox. But he's saying, well, in truth, there is no paradox because there's only one will, but you need to find your way out of the split mind. These are the principles that are going to work. And you need to learn the power of your mind. And you need to train your mind to be miracle-minded, so that eventually you can just accept the one will, that yes, there is only one will, God's will, and that is my will, and there is no other. But I have to come to that acceptance and realization myself. This cannot be imposed upon me. No one can say, you will. I mean, we see that, dogmatic time of religion. You will believe this. You can't force anyone to believe anything. They must choose willingly to go there.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
what this lesson is about, the cause and effect. Okay, Elaine, can you read number 2? You're muted, Elaine. Just need to unmute yourself.
I cannot let you leave your mind unguarded, or you will not be able to help me. Miracle working entails a full realization of the power of thought in order to avoid miscreation. Otherwise, the miracle will be necessary to set the mind itself straight, a circular process that would not foster the time collapse for which the miracle was intended. A miracle worker must have genuine respect for true cause and effect as a necessary condition for the miracle to occur.
Okay. Does that work for you? Anything stand out?
Yeah, you need to be aware of the thought in order to avoid the misperception.
Yeah.
Which
miscreation.
The miscreation, that there's something you're creating there, which is actually a miscreation because it's not real. So you need to be aware of, you've got to do that work, which we were talking about before. You've actually got to delve a bit into it and go, okay, well, I need to be aware of the realization of the power of this thinking. to avoid the miscreation.
Miracle working entails a full realization of the power of thought. So you need to become aware of the power of your thinking as a first step. And that because it has power, you need to be vigilant how you use your mind. There's a full realization of the power of thought. So it's almost like awareness at the base. And then that awareness leads to the second step, which is a miracle. A miracle is a correction. So you have awareness, and then you let go. You let go of whatever the beliefs are that are false, and you correct them by letting them go. So it's awareness and then choice to let go. Awareness that starts with awareness. Otherwise, a miracle would be necessary to set the mind itself straight. Circular process that would not foster the time collapse for which the miracle was intended. So if you don't have that base awareness, then you can't work miracles. You must be aware of the power of your mind. We must have genuine respect for true cause and effect as a necessary condition for the miracle to occur. So in other words, if I change my mind, which is causative, then the effect, which is my experience in the world, will change. And that these cause and effect relationships are necessary for a miracle to occur. So it's using cause and effect and karma positively. It's saying, okay, well, yes, your mind is creative, so use your mind correctly, and then the signs of the correction will show up.
The correction of negating the thought completely into obliteration will create a miracle. Will create the correction which will lead to a miracle.
Yeah, exactly. So a miracle is a correction. If you read those sentences again, read number 2 and say, instead of a miracle, say correction. Correction.
Leave your
Correction
mind.
working. Just go to number 2.
There, from America, okay.
Yeah, correction.
Correction working entails a full realization of the power of thought in order to avoid miscreation. Otherwise, a correction will be necessary to set the mind itself straight, a circular process that would not foster the time collapse for which the correction was intended. The correction worker must have genuine respect for true cause and effect as a necessary condition for the correction to occur.
It kind of makes sense if you put correction in there. Maybe it gives you a bit of a different perspective on it. Miracle working is correction working. So you're correcting your own mind, you're helping other people to correct their mind. And you do it through this cause-effect relationship. So cause is in my mind, and then the effects show up in the world. You must use that cause-effect relationship in miracle working. You're still within the domain of time, right? So it's still cause-effect is time. It's not revelation. You haven't transcended time, but it's necessary to work within the construct of time and space to overcome it. This is what he's saying here. Okay. Any questions about that, or should we move on to number 3? Lucy, can you read it for us? I'll ask you to unmute. There we go.
Both miracles and fear come from thoughts. If you are not free to choose one, you would also not be free to choose the other. By choosing the miracle, you have rejected fear. if only temporarily. You have been fearful of everyone and everything. You are afraid of God, of me, of yourself. You have misperceived or
Pause there. What we're going to do is retranslate.
Yeah.
Translate. So you're afraid of God, of me, and of yourself. So God is pure formless awareness, or perfect awareness, or pure love. Just use whichever variation of that you want. And also, why not try putting correction into instead of miracles and see how that goes. So read those first 5 again with doing the translation. See how that goes.
Both correction and fear come from thoughts. If you are not free to choose one, you would also not be free to choose the other. By choosing the correction, you have rejected fear, if only temporarily. You have been fearful of everyone and everything. You are afraid of pure love, of me and of yourself.
Good.
Hmm.
Okay. Any thoughts on that? It's a long paragraph, so I'll unpack it. That makes sense?
Yeah, if you are not free to choose one, you would not also be free to choose the other. Meaning you are free to choose. Yeah.
In this world, we had this discussion about free will earlier. Your free will in this world starts off by saying I'm free to choose. And I'm free to choose either, but if I choose for the miracle, I choose oneness, and I do that consistently over and over again, what I eventually do is I collapse choice. Eventually I recognize there is no choice because there's only this pure love, this perfect oneness, pure formless awareness. And I've systematically denied that there's anything else because the other, what is else, what's seemingly other is false.
Yeah.
And so through our free will of choosing consistently, we eventually come to the true free will, which is beyond choice, which is that I simply am one with this pure love, this pure formless awareness. But I have to use the ego's miscreated idea that we have free will and we have choice between these two thought systems. I must use that correctly in order to undo the idea of choice entirely, to go into true free will, which is really just infinite, eternal, spacious, pure formless awareness that is totally free, and there are no limits or boundaries to that. You understand there's these 2 levels of free will. Free will on this level is, yes, you must choose the miracle rather than the ego, rather than fear. And then that leads you to the true free will, where your mind is just infinite, spacious awareness, and there is no choice. You just are that. But to get back to that, we must use our free will in the dream to choose consistently. Okay.
I remember reading that the first time round years ago, and it just blew my mind. And then I totally forgot. Feels like I completely forgot. And coming to it today is like, oh my God, it's that again. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's really strong. That's so strong. Yeah,
okay. So let's continue with number 6.
You have misperceived or miscreated us and believe in what you have made. You would not have done this if you were not afraid of your own thoughts. The fearful must miscreate because they misperceive creation. When you miscreate, you are in pain. The cause and effect principle now becomes a real expediter, though only temporarily. Actually, cause is a term properly belonging to pure awareness. And
so what I do, Lucy, read it first and then go back and read it again. It's easier.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, cause is a term properly belonging to God, and his effect is his Son. This entails a set of cause and effect relationships.
So stop there and then go back and read that sentence once you've done it as a translation.
Yeah.
So actually, cause is a term properly belonging to pure formless awareness.
Yeah. So actually, cause is a term properly belonging to pure formless awareness, and his effect is
Its
his
effect.
Son.
So translate his to its.
Its effect.
Yeah.
Okay. Its effect is his Son.
No, so his Son is its extension. So the Son of God is the extension of
The Son of
pure
God is the
formless awareness.
extension.
Pure formless awareness.
The Son being ourselves.
Yeah, so the Son is these are terms used to refer to our mind. He's referring to an aspect of our mind. So our mind, it must be an extension of its source, which is pure formless awareness.
Yeah.
So by using these terms, it points us into the mind. Say, well, what is he really referring to? Because too many people go, God, Son of God, oh God, like I don't really get it. Christian language just doesn't penetrate beyond the term. They've got all these preconceptions about what it means. And so by translating into another language, just different terms, like, okay, well, God is pure formless awareness and its effect. So God is no longer male, which is helpful, I think, because God has never been male. It's just that's the way it's been. Language is dualistic. It's male or female. So use his rather than its. So its effect is its extension. The Son of God is just the extension of this pure formless awareness, which makes complete sense if you say it that way. So read that sentence again with those translations and just see how it sits with you.
Actually, cause is a term properly belonging to pure formless awareness, and its effect is its extension. Yeah.
Makes sense. Must do.
Yeah.
What causes this pure formless awareness, and the effect of it is the extension of it, which is also pure formless awareness, believe it or not. Because what else could it be if it's extending itself? So then how then can we not be that pure formless awareness if that's the source?
Yeah.
Which then denies the logic of the ego completely. It's like, well, I must be that. I must be as my source is. If pure formless awareness is cause, and I'm the effect of the cause, I must be as the cause is.
Yeah.
I think your daughters are right today. Let's see. Shall we say hello to her?
Quite a hectic point to arrive, I must say. It's sort of like.
Hi, you, Louise. So let's see if she can join us. Continue in the meantime. So
I join the course at this point. Okay, having never done anything before, I would not have a clue. Not a clue who I was at all.
Oh well, she's diving in at the deep end.
Yeah.
So this entails. Do you want to continue?
Yeah. This entails a set of cause and effect relationships totally different from those you introduce into miscreation. The fundamental conflict in this world then is between creation and miscreation. All fear is implicit in the second, and all love in the first. The conflict is therefore one between love and fear.
I think that's an excellent introduction. Hi, you, Louise.
Yeah.
Let's ask her to unmute. Can you hear her? Can you hear us okay? You need to unmute. You got
Maybe she doesn't know how.
no. Anyway, let's continue. So yeah, in some interesting ideas there. Anything stand out for you?
This entails a set of cause and effect relationships, totally different from those you introduce into miscreation.
We're not talking about cause and effect on this level of the world. No, I think something, I say something, I do something that has effects. Talking about something completely different. Cause and effect as cause being effect, right? The merging of cause with effect is the merging of God and His Son, or love and its extension, into the oneness. Hi, you, Louise.
Hi, I'm good, and you?
Yes, yeah. Glad you could join us.
Yes,
So you just kind of dropped in. We're busy reading from A Course in Miracles, so we just take turns reading, and then we discuss each paragraph. We've got a few to go. So, would you like to read a paragraph for us?
I don't have it with me at the moment. Can I just listen?
Yeah. Can you not see the screen?
Okay, hold on.
So I'm sharing my screen. So
Sorry, let me just get it.
okay. Well, can you not see the screen?
Okay, hang on. Yeah, I can read. It doesn't show everything.
Okay. So can you read from there, from paragraph 4? We have highlighted. If you read from there, that's
It has
great.
already been said that you believe you cannot control fear because you yourself made it, and your belief in it seems to render it out of your control. Yet any attempt to resolve the error through attempting the mastery of fear is useless. In fact, it asserts the power of fear by the very assumption that it need be mastered. The true resolution rests entirely on mastery through love. In the interim, however, the sense of conflict is inevitable, since you have placed yourself in a position where you believe in the power of what does not exist.
Okay.
Nothing and everything.
No, stop. Stop. One paragraph at a time. We'll just stop and unpack it there. So, any thoughts about that? Does it make any sense to you?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense, and it's so true. The true. Yeah, it's just like so true, you know, and since you believe in power. Yeah, it's like really true for me, and it just it's very thought provoking, you know.
Yeah. Well, this is how this course goes. It's like every paragraph's like this. It's there's a lot of deep wisdom in it. So do you understand when he says it asserts the power of fear by the very assumption that needs to be mastered? What he's saying.
Yeah.
You can't actually overcome fear by mastering fear. Some people say, well, you've just got to master your fear. But actually, this resolution is saying that it's mastery through love. So love is the undoing of fear. Fear simply ceases to be when you're in love. Ceases to exist. So you're not mastering.
Yeah.
You cannot master what is not really there.
Yeah.
But if you give it power, then you've placed yourself in a position where you believe in the power of what does not exist. So you give fear power and you say, I must master the fear, but you're trying to master what does not exist, which ultimately is self.
It's about like knowing what you can and can't control.
So you can let go of all fear instead of trying to control fear.
Yeah.
And say, well, I'm just going to manage my fear. instead of that, you're trying to undo it entirely.
Yeah.
And just simply go into love, which is a perfect oneness. We call it pure formless awareness.
Yeah.
It's awareness beyond, without any limits, without any borders or boundaries. And that awareness is this perfect infinite love we call the love of God. And that in that awareness, if you're in that awareness, there is no fear, because there's nothing else to be aware of. And so that's why I say the mastery comes entirely from love and not from trying to control your fear. Because by trying to control your fear, you're giving the fear a reality it doesn't have. Okay, makes sense.
Yes. Yes.
Good. Okay, well, so welcome to the course. You read your first paragraph.
Well done, Lou.
So
I don't know if I would have got that.
We just rotate it. So
Hi.
I think it's Elaine's turn now. Elaine, do you want to read
Nothing
number 5?
and everything.
Yeah.
Nothing and everything cannot coexist. To believe in one is to deny the other. Fear is really nothing, and love is everything. Whenever light enters darkness, the darkness is abolished. What you believe is true for you. In this sense, the separation has occurred, and to deny it is merely to use denial inappropriately. However, to concentrate on error is only a further error. The initial corrective procedure is to recognize temporarily that there is a problem, but only as an indication that immediate correction is needed. This establishes a state of mind in which the atonement can be accepted without delay.
And say that as at-one-ment.
At-one-ment.
Yeah,
This
at-one-ment.
establishes a state of mind in which the at-one-ment can be accepted without delay.
And pause it there, because it's a long paragraph. We'll pause it there. So any thoughts on that? Makes sense? When he says the initial corrective procedure is to recognize temporarily that there's a problem, and only as an indication that immediate correction is needed. So we've talked about this before. You must be aware of the problem. So yes, okay, I recognize temporarily I have a problem. I have fear in my mind. So I'm aware of that thought and emotion. But now I'm willing to let it go. And I'm willing to accept the at-one-ment, which is the thought that actually, no, this isn't true. Actually, my mind is one with pure formless awareness. And I apply that to this particular situation. And that's the correction. We must acknowledge that there's a problem in order to deal with the problem. Otherwise, you can't.
It's a meeting. Don't do that.
Okay. And so then number 10, do you want to carry on? It should be emphasized.
It should be emphasized.
Any other questions? There's a few other interesting things there. Any other questions about the first bit? Whenever light enters darkness, the darkness is abolished. Does that make sense? To believe one is to deny the other. So he's saying very clearly, this is a non-dual teaching. He's saying nothing and everything cannot coexist. You must choose. It's one or the other here. You cannot have both. And he's asking us to choose the light and let go of the darkness. Okay, so number 10.
It should be emphasized, however, that ultimately no compromise is possible between everything and nothing. Time is essentially a device by which all compromise in this respect can be given up. It only seems to be abolished by degrees, because time itself involves intervals that do not exist. Miscreation made this necessary as a corrective device. The statement for God, shall I read it as that? For God so loved the world that he gave.
Read it as it is and then translate it.
Okay. The statement, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Needs only one slight correction to be meaningful in this context. He gave it to his only begotten Son.
Okay, so retranslate that sentence and change God to pure formless awareness.
Okay, starting, what was it from? Where did I start? Was it 10?
The statement from there, the statement for God.
Number
14.
Yeah, the statement for God, the statement for conscious formless,
Pure formless awareness.
Oh, I'm so tired. The statement for pure formless awareness. So loved the world that it gave his only begotten Son.
It's only
begotten Son.
And Son is extension. It's only begotten extension.
Begotten extension. Let me read that again. The statement, pure formless awareness, so loved the world that it gave its only begotten extension, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Needs only one slight correction to be meaningful in this context. He gave it to his only begotten. It gave it to its only begotten extension.
So God so loved the world that he gave it to its only begotten Son, or extension. He gave his only. So do you see what he's meaning by that? What is the it that he's referring to? Does it make sense? For pure formless awareness so loved the world that it gave it. So it is actually the second it is actually the world. So we have the world as our learning device, right? This world is there for us to learn and to correct our minds. As he said previously, time is essentially a device which all compromise in this respect can be given up. So we have time and we have the world in order for us to learn what we need to learn, so that we can give up this false idea. And the world becomes a learning device to learn this. So he, or pure formless awareness, gave the world to its only begotten Son, or its only begotten extension. We have this world as a learning device or corrective device for our minds, so we can learn what we need to learn and abolish all miscreation, abolish all falsehood and all error through our experiences in this world in time. That's the purpose of the world. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very. I really am. I really need to concentrate.
Okay. Well, we've got 2 paragraphs, and then we're done. So let's hang in there. So let's ask Iona. Iona, are you still there? Will you read number 6 for us? Will you read number 6 for us, please?
Yeah, for sure. It should especially be noted that God has only one Son. It should be especially noted that pure formless awareness has only one extension, if all its creations, shall I just carry on, or do you want me to read the his and sons?
It's up to you. Can you do it on the fly?
I'll have a go.
Have a go. Okay.
If all its creations are its extensions, every one must be an integral part of the whole extensionship or sonship.
You see why it uses the words, because it becomes quite clumsy if you extend it into, you know what I mean? But the whole extension, really, I suppose. You wouldn't say extensionship, you'd say the whole extension.
Yeah, I like that. An integral part of the whole extension. The extension in its oneness transcends the sum of its parts. However, this is obscured as long as any of its parts is missing. That is why the conflict cannot ultimately be resolved until all the parts of the extension have returned. Only then can the meaning of wholeness in its true sense be understood. Any part of the extension can believe in error or incompleteness if it so chooses. However, if it does so, it's believing in the existence of nothingness. The correction of this error is the at-one-ment.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
It was very smooth. So getting the hang of it. But does that make more sense when you translate it? I guess that's the only reason why we use other words, is so that it makes a bit more sense and you kind of get it on a deeper level.
It really does. You know, I have this sort of visual in my mind of this pure formless awareness. And this, we are all one. You know, it's not just given to you or to me, it's all of us, because we're all integral. You know, it said that the pure formless awareness is lonely without us. You know, we all need to get on board. We're so much bigger than the sum of all its parts. The oneness is obscured if any of us dip out, or if we exclude anyone in our thinking.
Yeah, because then one idea of separation denies oneness. This is how it works.
Yeah.
One tiny mad idea of separation which you hold on to denies the oneness and the extension of that oneness in the sonship, or the extension of that oneness.
Yeah.
And so that's why you have to be really vigilant, because one thought of separation denies it all.
Right.
It's like, okay, all right, it's a whole nother level of vigilance, isn't it?
It is. And if I choose to condemn or a brother, I can do that if I choose. However, if I do that, I'm believing the existence of nothingness, that I can't have it both ways. I either fully accept pure formless awareness, or I believe in the existence of nothing.
Yeah.
And if I correct this error in my thinking, this is the true at-one-ment.
Yeah.
So my
to simply accept, that only the truth is true.
Yeah.
Only oneness is true. So the benefit of Louise, see, this is a non-dual teaching. So what he's saying is that you cannot have both. You can't have separation and oneness going on in your mind at the same time, because your mind is then in a contradictory state. Your mind is split, and those ideas contradict each other. Whereas there's many teachings that don't go to that level. They say, well, the ego is kind of there and it has a purpose, and they don't go to the, like, yes, it's this or that. You must choose. You cannot have love and fear going on in your mind and be sane, because they contradict each other. So it's asking us to choose over and over again. He's asking us to choose oneness, which is the at-one-ment that he's talking about. When you choose oneness, then you're part of the at-one-ment, which is a process as well as an end result. Eventually, every mind will choose oneness, and we will be at one again, and the entire illusion of separation will disappear. So your part in that one-ment is simply to choose oneness in every situation and every circumstance and every experience that you have in your life. And as you choose oneness more and more, you start to learn that actually this idea of oneness is true, and I must be one. Therefore, with my source, and I must be one with all my brothers and sisters, because that's what oneness dictates. There's no exclusion to oneness. There's no contradiction to oneness. And so eventually I let go of any idea of separation and I accept that one-ment completely. And then I no longer believe in the existence of nothingness. Does that kind of make sense? Does it resonate?
Yes, it does. Sorry, what was the last thing you said now? I think you said it coexists or something.
I said you no longer believe in the existence of nothingness. So here he says, however, if he does so, he's believing in the existence of nothingness. So if you want to believe that both fear and love are true, then you must believe in the existence of what is not true, the existence of nothingness. And so by correcting your mind, doing this at one-ment, you recognize that you cannot believe in the existence of nothingness anymore. So you simply don't believe in fear and any of its derivatives. And your mind comes into awareness that you are this pure formless awareness. You are this love, and that's all you are. There's nothing else. So fear doesn't exist. All of your problems that arise in the separated state of fear don't exist. You simply collapse them, and this is where he's leading us. So it's a complete letting go of everything that you believe in this world, and an acceptance of that one-ment as the answer, as the solution. So yeah, you'll get into it as we go, but this is really the fundamental teaching that he's giving us, saying you must choose. You cannot have both of these ideas in your mind and be sane.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm getting a little bit.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, he's got many pages of this. We're on chapter 2, and there's 31 chapters, so it's a process to really accept that one-ment is a profound mind training process, and that's what we're doing here in these sessions. Okay, and then Lucy, do you want to read the last paragraph for us, please? I think you still muted.
Whoops. I have already briefly spoken about readiness, but some additional points might be helpful here. Readiness is only the prerequisite for accomplishment. The two should not be confused. As soon as a state of readiness occurs, there is usually some degree of desire to accomplish, but it is by no means necessarily undivided. The state does not imply more than a potential for a change of mind. Confidence cannot develop fully until mastery has been accomplished. We have already attempted to correct the fundamental error that fear can be mastered, and have emphasized that the only real mastery is through love. Readiness is only the beginning of confidence. You may think this implies that an enormous amount of time is necessary between readiness and mastery, but let me remind you that time and space are under my control.
Okay, so anything?
Wow. Feels like a koan.
Zen koan.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. So the readiness is just a prerequisite.
Mm.
Accomplishment comes from really like staying committed to choosing love, having that desire to accomplish the pure formless awareness. I have to keep looking at that word. I keep forgetting those three words together. So it's kind of he's saying, you have to be so dedicated. You have to be so dedicated. But it's not about time. it's not just about, oh, it's going to take you years and years, because time is just a illusory. Yeah, there's so much in that.
Yes. Readiness and mastery. So, you know, if you're ready for the journey, you've actually, both you and Louise, first day. So it's your first, well, you did one yesterday, but it's your first official day of the course. So there's a readiness, a willingness. You've shown up. It's like, okay. And now it's like, okay, so the mastery is the practice of this. Practice the ideas, apply them to your life without exception, no matter what. And then you start to develop mastery, because it's not just an idea, it's an idea applied. And the idea applied then gives you the confidence that this is true, that only oneness is true, because you've applied it and you've experienced the benefits of it.
So, Jono, this is the hero's journey you're talking about, isn't it? Or the heroine's journey.
Yeah, to just zoom out quickly onto that. Well, let's have a quick look at the hero's journey. This will be new to Louise, but let's have a look. Hero's journey. And there's a diagram, which is the best way of explaining it. So we have this going on. Let's zoom in. Oops. And now what happens? Let me go back there. Just zoom in. Okay, zoom in. Okay, so there we go. Oh, doesn't like that. There we go. That's about as zoomed in as I can get it, unless I do that. I could do that. So there you can see. This is what we're doing. So the readiness is the start. It's a call to adventure. You feel there's something that you want to learn. You're not comfortable in your current life. There's a call to do something else. And in this instance, is this course. Then you might get supernatural aid. So you might get some things coming in to help you. So for instance, Lucy, your story, will you tell that about the course? It's so interesting. It was so interesting.
What about?
You got the course book from your friend.
Oh yeah, that's right. So, well, Iona said, "Hey, I'm doing this thing." It was actually, I think we were talking about my niece who's been suicidal, and I think that's how it went. And then Iona was doing the course, and I just happened to walk in, and sort of sat there for the end of it. And then you said, "Hey, come along," and I thought, okay. And then the next day I walked in to Iona's and I came for the whole session, and my friend got in touch and I said, I've been doing the Course in Miracles. She said, oh, I'm just giving away the book. Do you want it? Well, I've already got one in Edinburgh, but I don't have access to it. So it means I can have a copy I can pick up. Yeah. It was just, and I would say, you know, the enter stage right, the mighty companions, you know. Yeah.
So that's a good example of supernatural aid. You know, okay, someone just happens to be giving away the course and you happen to be getting back into it and they happen to tell you that. And so then you get the book. So you will get those. You also get threshold guardians, which are really, that's the ego. It's the fear that's going to try and stop you from doing this. So going from outside of the known into the unknown. And if you find any difficulties or any resistance showing up, then that's what it is. Because the ego doesn't want this to happen. But if you persist and you're just willing to go, no, you know, something in me says I need to do this, then you go through that barrier from the known to the unknown. And that's really where the transformation starts happening. And then it doesn't get easier. It's challenges and temptations along the way. But there are guides and helpers, mentors and helpers at these points. And that's the hero's journey that you take. That you get challenged, you get tempted, and maybe you want to give up, and then someone or something comes in to help you, unexpected source, you know, whatever. In your case, this was the book just arriving. And that's kind of how it works. And then who knows what your journey is going to be. That's the interesting thing, that your journey is unique to you. Only you are making that journey, and the experiences that you have on the journey, although there's certain archetypes and you can frame it in this hero's journey, they are your experiences and they're meant for you. So we're all on our own hero's journey to overcome these challenges and temptations and go through this abyss, this death and rebirth experience, ultimately, where the ego just starts dropping away. And it's painful. It's not easy. It feels like something's dying because the old self is dying. But in that process, you then come out the other side, and that's the transformation. So you're now on a different level. You're thinking differently. You've got a different belief system, and you are not the same person. That's what transformation means. And then at-one-ment, so the idea of at-one-ment, interesting, even used in this. So we're talking about that in the course. He's using the idea of at-one-ment. So actually, that's what this is all about. It's about bringing you into a state of at-one-ment with yourself, your true source, and also with other people. And then once you've got this, you've been on this profound journey, you really get that, yes, I'm at one. Now I return back to the known. So I go back to my life, back to society, but I bring these gifts of the goddess with me, which are these inner gifts, that I've had this experience, deeper experience of who I really am, and I can now share that with other people. And they will, because I've had the experience, I can talk from experience. It's not theoretical. It's like actual knowledge because I've been through the experience of this. And now I can help others maybe to do the same, because we're all on a hero's journey. And the call for everyone in this world is to take their own hero's journey and awaken. And I think we're in a time in the world where that's speeding up. So this COVID thing and the difficulties and the challenges are there to help us on our hero's journey, to go through this and to awaken to who we really are. So if you see them that way, then they stop becoming fearful, and you see that this is all perfect for me. It's perfect for my growth, and this is a catalyst for my hero's journey, which is what we're all here to do. Our life should be a hero's journey of awakening to who we really are. So any questions on that? Louise, does it make sense? So that's kind of what this process is about. It's taking you through this hero's journey in the next year, because it's a 1-year process to really undo the ego. And this coming week, Sunday, we're going to be doing some of this death and rebirth. That's we've got an exercise that actually will help you to really collapse the old identity and to transform genuinely. And so here's the thing with true transformation: something has to die. You cannot hold on to the old in order for the new to emerge. You must let that go, which is completely consistent with what he's saying here, that these two thought systems do not reconcile, and you must correct your errors, let go of the darkness entirely to go to the light. So the same fundamental idea here. In order to be reborn as who you really are, as the hero, you must die to the old self. You cannot carry that on past this point in the journey with you. So that's what we have to look forward to. Death and rebirth, which is the true meaning of the resurrection, was the death of the old self and the resurrection of a new self. That is true.
Yeah.
Okay, so any questions or comments on this? No? Hero's journey, the section. Can anyone, here's a challenge for someone. Can someone give me a 1-minute summary of what this is about? Section 7 of chapter 2. High level overview. What are the key points? Iona?
Mine is that
Mm-hmm.
my takeaway is that fear doesn't exist. and we are pure awareness. And you can't hold conflicting thoughts. Fear and love are the opposite. And yeah, we're just pure awareness, and you give that meaning through love.
Yeah, it's a pretty good summary. And that, you know, our true cause is love, and only that is going to work. So don't try and attempt mastery through fear. Don't try and control fear. Just be willing to let it go and surrender completely to this loving presence, because in that presence, love just undoes the fear. It just simply doesn't exist anymore. So true cause, and if true cause is love, and the effect, we are the effect of love. It's quite a nice thought. I'm just an effect of love. So now I need to live up to that. If I'm an effect of love, I need to be loving and kind, because that's what love is, and that's what love does. Okay. Any other thoughts on that? Anyone? Otherwise, I think let's call it a night. It's getting on for 20 past 11 here. So
Wow.
we'll just finish off with a quick 2 minutes prayer of love and gratitude. So just closing your eyes and breathing in, take a nice deep breath in. And just breathe in the love and breathe in the gratitude. For this amazing teaching, just the truth that connects you with your own pure formless awareness. So truth is there. We have this amazing technology that connects us together, that allows us to do this work. Just breathe that in. Feel this energy, this loving presence, infusing every cell, every muscle of your being, every fiber of your mind is fused with this loving presence in which fear does not exist. This is your cause, this is your source. You are the effect of it. When you bring your mind into alignment with this pure formless awareness, then you are one with it and it is one with you, and there is no separation. So just give thanks for this presence and this experience of the presence. Thanks for the mighty companions on the journey, this amazing teaching. We have this incredible truth teaching that's available freely on the internet. We have this technology that allows us to learn it. And it's all been guided. We've been guided by the Holy Spirit, the voice for pure formless awareness, to simply accept it. Accept it now fully to your heart and to your mind. Embrace it with your breath. Breathe it in. You can imagine a light flowing in, a golden or white light into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, infused with this light, loving energy. And you can extend it out. As you breathe out, have a sense of extending this to everyone here in this room, everyone on the course, everyone in your life, family and friends, social networks. And then don't stop there, to everyone on the planet, every human being, every living creature. They all have sentience, they have some awareness, which means that they are also from God. from love. Smile. Anchor the state in. Be grateful for it. We are all one. We are in this at one together. It's a joint exercise. And that should make you feel very connected to your brothers and to your source. So it is said, so it is done. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Just give thanks to everyone. Thank you, everyone, for the session. Thank you for joining us, Louise and Elaine and Lucy. Welcome to the course. So tomorrow there's going to be a session at 2:30 South African time.